I'm scared.
Well, drop your pants over and prepare for another Dropcast. Episode 3. I'm your host, Kyle Shewan, and I'm joined by Matthew Kershaw. How you doing?
Drop your pants and roll over.
Don't question me.
I
am the
good.
master here of the questions.
Oh, God.
How are you doing?
I'm good. The drama that's been happening in the past week has got me down, but, still going.
Is this drama we can discuss here, or a different drama, or...?
That's the drama I said I wanted to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if you want...
Do you want to start with that?
What do you want to start with, Destiny, or...?
Destiny is so last year. We're here to talk about the big games, the games of the next generation, the games that are going to define this console cycle. We're here to talk about Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate.
No, we're not.
Because that game, let me tell you, that's some game. The game starts, right? It's a remake of Warriors Orochi 3, and I never played that originally, I missed it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also got the stuff from the Wii U release, Hyper, and it's got some new stuff. And basically you start the first mission, you're playing as some asshole I don't like, Ma Chao and somebody or other. But like this huge-ass Hydra with like 8-headed dragon thing erupts from the lava fields in front of you, and then you die. But
Game of the year?
Fight. It might be Game of the Year. The soundtrack seems more weird and poppy than I'm used to. Normally it's like mad guitar riffs and stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just not remembering from Warriors Orochi 3.
Is it like... It's a Japanese game, isn't it? So is it not... It's not J-pop, is it?
It's not what I think of J-pop, but it's a bit... It's kind of like, the Attack on Titan sound.
Is it like... The music's like bubbly?
No, it's more... I will get some samples. Get some samples. I'll record some if I can't find it online, but it's really good. It would not feel out of a place in like a... It would be a bit weird if it was on like the start of a free episode, but it would definitely fit with some Attack on Titan. It's that kind of... It's less guitar, more like synth. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But yeah, you're right. Do you want to start with Destiny, or do you want to hit the news? It's entirely up to you.
I could ramble on about Minecraft and Microsoft for a while.
Well, let's go on with that then, because that's probably happier than what I've got to say.
So the whole news is that it started off that Microsoft were going to buy Mojang for $2 billion. Now it's come out that Notch has asked to meet with Microsoft about an acquisition, and he's been doing it for months apparently. And he's been in talks with Phil Spencer and other people at Microsoft. So it looks like it could be true.
Yeah, and I heard rumors that he was planning on like selling them off and then leaving.
Yeah, he's going to do like a hit and run where he'll just sell his company and then leave with the money.
Do you reckon he'll be staying in games, trying to do something else? I guess he can never be in the same position, can he? Because now he's already successful and well known.
He has enough money to not do anything. What's he done since he left Minecraft development in like 2011? Nothing.
He started Scrolls. I hear that's
No,
hot.
he didn't. That was other game developers at Mojang.
Oh, I don't even know what that game is.
He started to make a space game and then gave up on it.
Oh yeah, was that like Mars Attack? No, Mars
No, it's
Attack,
like
but
OXDC5. I couldn't even pronounce the name.
Alright, weird. Did we ever see anything of that?
He had like beta multiplayer gameplay, and that's about it.
Oh right, like Minecraft then.
It was going to be like No Man's Sky.
Alright, yeah.
It was going to be that before that was a thing.
Alright. That could be cool.
It could have been cool, but it was going to have like intergalactic trading and persistent worlds, and you
like
could
Eve, then. Eve Online.
You could program stuff. There were in-game computers that you could then program, so you could essentially like program your ships to like, be bots for you and fly around and mine for you.
I thought that game sounded fun, but now you've just put me way off.
It could have been cool, but you just stopped.
So what's your take on this whole acquisition deal then?
Minecraft isn't going to be around forever. I reckon it has maybe another year or two, and that's if, let's say Microsoft weren't going to take it. Minecraft only has a year, maybe 2 at the most, of still being at its peak rate. I think it reached its peak a while ago, and it's still raking in money quite frequently. I think Mojang aren't a publicly traded company, but it's recommended they pull in about $100 million a year from just Minecraft sales.
Alright, that's quite impressive. What about all the skins?
Well, you can change skins for free, and you can download mods for free. and they
Yeah,
don't
on the
charge. They don't charge for updates or anything, which I like. Mojang continue to support it, even though it's been 2 years since its release, and
Yeah.
the small amount of development that goes into it. I think there's only like 4 or 5 guys that work on it still to put out updates, but they're really nice and they listen to the community and stuff.
Didn't this originally launch for like $5 or something?
You could buy it in alpha for, I think it was like €15, and then
Alright.
beta for like 20-25 euros, and now it's still about the same price for the full
I was
release.
gonna say, I only paid like 15 quid myself. I bought the 360 version, but
Yeah,
yeah. That's not a bad deal, then, is it, for how cheap it is?
I've had it since like August 2010 or 2011, and I still play it.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's worth pointing out that you're not just shitting on the future of Minecraft, you're like
No.
in there playing it. And...
Yeah, it's like Minecraft only has a year or two at most. I mean, the developers eventually will get bored of supporting it, or they'll move on to new projects. So, if Microsoft were to buy it, it would probably give it another 3-4 years on top of it. It might even mean that Microsoft give them the money to make a Minecraft 2, a AAA game for the PC and Xbox, because they won't make it for the Sony platforms if Microsoft buy it, which is a
Maybe.
downside.
But what do you think a AAA Minecraft is? Like, just higher poly? Like,
It would be, first of all, it wouldn't be
frostbite
written
graphics of cubes?
it wouldn't be written in Java, and it wouldn't, run like shit most of the time.
Fair point.
Minecraft was successful because of how simple it was, and you could do anything in it, which I don't think you'd be able to get with a AAA version of it. But the name Minecraft is what would sell Minecraft 2, not the game.
Yeah, there would be
or
like
how it
Minecraft
looks.
costumes in every first party like release for the next year or 4.
I want Master Chief to dress up as a creeper in Halo 6.
Oh, he's already a creeper. And now he's alone in space. Spoilers for Halo 4.
Oh, the thing the internet is shitting on is, Microsoft. The people who don't want Mojang to be bought by Microsoft are gamers. They're the ones who play Minecraft and so when gamers think of Microsoft, they just think of how they messed up the Xbox One launch and all the bad policies and negativity around them.
Also, it's the internet, so
It's also the internet. So
everything gets shat on.
Microsoft isn't an evil company. I'm sure if they did acquire Mojang, they would leave Minecraft to carry on being developed. They wouldn't charge for skin packs, and they wouldn't disable mods, and they wouldn't do all these things that people are just blowing out of proportion. Microsoft want to buy Mojang to acquire Minecraft as an IP, and then make movies and make merchandise and advertise the game, because the game's not had any advertising, at least the PC version.
Yeah.
And yet
well,
it's sold
even the 360
millions.
version, it's on the dashboard, but it's not like mainstream. Oh, it's about as mainstream as you can get.
Yeah.
And it looks like shit. Like, that's not me slagging off the game, but it does look terrible, so... I don't know. Clearly people are buying it, though. I mean, it sold... I have no numbers on how many it sold on the console.
I think it sold a couple million on the 360. I don't know about the PS3, because I think by the time the PS3 version was announced or released, the PS4 version had already been announced.
Yeah, I think it came out on the Vita as well.
Yeah,
Around the same time as the PS3, but the PS4 was last week, I think.
Yeah, no, it got sent back from cert testing. It's out on...
Yeah, but I think that was a couple of weeks ago, because I'm pretty sure it's out on the store now.
Is it?
Yep. I'll check for you now, but I do remember hearing about that problem.
Yeah.
But it's definitely on this week's stuff.
Yeah, it's like... I don't know what to think. If Microsoft do acquire Mojang, it's going to be sad, but it's also going to mean that Mojang is still a thing for a couple more years. Because, Minecraft is the breakthrough indie game, no matter how much Phil Fish rants on about how Fez is the breakthrough indie game. It's like,
Phil
no...
Fish and Jonathan Blow with Braid.
Yeah, you two are never going to earn as much money as Notch has from his one game.
No,
It's
it is available now on the PS4.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. It was
But,
released on the 3rd of September.
Minecraft is the breakthrough game, and you think about how much Minecraft has inspired the indie market. I mean, sure, there's tons of rip-off games of Minecraft just trying to, earn some money from its success, but look at all the stuff that's been inspired from Minecraft and all the people who have been inspired from Minecraft. I mean,
Like
people.
Project Spark from Microsoft Studios.
No, we don't talk about that.
Conker's bad. Conker's in there though.
Oh, great.
You can wear Conker and run around some trees and fight goblins. Oh
Where
shit!
can-
What if the Minecraft 2 is just Project Spark rebranded?
Oh,
You can play as Conker in high poly count, in inverted commas, in Minecraft.
I
Getting
want to
fucked by Slenderman or something.
I'm gonna kill myself.
That was my takeaway. Like, why would they buy that if they've got this Project Spark?
Because they want the name. If they, I'm sure they could probably. I don't think they'll earn their $2 billion back. I think it's just a waste. But they want to. That's just it. They want to expand on the IP. They want to make a movie, which has been in talks for a while now. They want to maybe push for the Windows market, for the Windows Phone and the Surface to get versions of Minecraft for them, because the mobile market for Minecraft is the biggest seller. I think there's like 21 million copies sold on the Android store and the
Apple Store, yeah.
Yeah, the
It's
Apple
weird
Store.
though, 'cause I downloaded the light version when it came out, and it was
Yeah.
terrible. Have you ever tried to like mine shit with because there's no controls, obviously. You've just got to like bottom left-hand corner of the screen does like tapping or whatever.
Yeah, I've
Garbage.
seen it.
It
But
looks fine. It looks great because it probably looks nicer on there than it does on my PC. But
it's cheap, and if your kids, crying about trying to play Minecraft, you just give them your phone, buy that for like $1 or whatever.
give them your $600 iPhone to play Minecraft on.
I'm gonna play Minecraft on my iWatch.
Oh my! Do we want to address any of that or not? I did watch the conference.
I didn't watch it, but again, I think it's people over hyping it and over exaggerating things. Like, yeah, the new iPhone's expensive, and you have that's iPhone. You just buy the last version, or you save up and buy the new version.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, all Apple have ever done, and people seem to forget this every single year, is they iterate, and their products get better, and they'll include new technology that might have been on the market for the last year, but they'll do it better, and it'll work fine. And, like, I don't know. I'm not going to buy a new iPhone every year. I don't think anybody should. That's crazy. But mine will be in 3 years. I've got the 4S. So it naturally makes sense for me to go and buy the 6.
The one thing I think is cool, and I remember we talked about it, was paying with your phone, and they have
Apple
that.
Pay.
That is really cool. I know Android have had it for a while now, but it never really took off. And I always thought if it's going to take off, Apple will do it.
Yeah,
I'm
Apple
glad
have
that-
a way of evangelizing technology, don't they? They have a way of making it in the mainstream, and
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure.
I don't.
I'm sure computer nerds who have had their so their Android M8s for a while now are like, yeah, I pay with my phone all the time. But now the average person who just buys an iPhone because they know it's good and it's an iPhone, an Apple product, will buy it and they'll be like, oh, I can pay with my phone. That's awesome.
It's not just that though. Like, I remember there's a friend of ours. We'll call him Beej, and like for the longest time he was trying to get me to he was harping on this Android train. Like, oh, you can't packet sniff with your phone. That was the one argument I remember him. It was like, I can't packet sniff with my iPhone. I'm like, I don't packet sniff at the best of times with a PC, a laptop, or otherwise. And that's the one argument that stands out for me.
Is this the same Beej that went and jailbroke his iPhone within a few weeks of buying it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you know why he did that?
What?
So he could get high scores by cheating on fucking Flappy Bird.
I remember that.
That's when he did it. I'm like, there's no way you scored 53 on Flappy Bird. He's like, no, I jailbroke my phone. Like, why the fuck would you go on? Oh, whatever. He's mad. He's mad.
Well, another friend, I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, about his post about, oh, I wear my $500 watch, so why wouldn't I buy an iPhone and an iWatch to do the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah. Right, the iWatch, I don't wear a watch, and I won't. And that's fine. I'm not going to buy an iWatch. I'm sure if you wear a watch and you have an iPhone, it would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Those watches are nice. I don't know if you've seen the different straps. They look awesome. But the only time I wear a watch is when I'm in an exam and I need it and I haven't got my phone.
Yet, I think that, for me personally, I would rather get one of those Pebble watches. I think it runs on, I want to say it's an Android thing.
I remember it was meant to run on both, but I think iOS, the most how it's kind of like sandboxed off.
Yeah.
I don't think it worked very well with iOS, so it's largely Android.
But I mean, if you could have an iWatch or a Pebble, I would go with the Pebble because it's more customizable, and you can do whatever you want with it. But it won't have as many features, and it won't be as good as the iWatch.
Yeah, but like that's the thing with iOS 8, they addressed this earlier in June with the developers conference.
Yeah.
They're doing this they're including things like widgets, right? Basic things that people tout as being the customizable features of Android, but now they're doing it in Apple products or whatever. Like this September it'll be, which is more interesting because I don't know. I just remember I don't want to run antivirus software on my phone. I don't want to do crazy shit. I don't even want the fitness stuff, to be honest. But I guess I like how many steps I'll take.
Mm.
But I mean, if I can, I remember the example that Craig Federighi showed on stage was he was in Facebook or something, and he was dragging a photo from Pinterest, all in the Facebook app. And he just dragged it over from the Pinterest icon. It's fucking brilliant. That's more useful to me.
Yeah.
Than be able to packet sniff my local college network. I don't know, whatever. The bigger thing for me, though, with the iPhone 6 was, I don't know if you remember, but every time we've had a debate about phones and where they're going, I always said I wanted seamless glass to the edge. You've got this big ridge and frame or whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what they've done with the iPhone 6, is it's now curved along the edge, so the glass just curves into the aluminium.
That's awesome.
Looks fucking beautiful. Looks beautiful. Well,
how long until we just have the front screen as all glass?
Well, that's the next thing, but I guess I've got the home button still on the camera. See, I don't need a front-facing camera for anything. But I guess other people would. If they took that out, then it would be market suicide, I guess.
It's for selfies, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, selfies.
Which is all I heard when they were talking about the new camera. My Twitter feed just exploded with people making jokes about selfies.
Yeah. Whatever. I don't use the camera anyway. I take pictures of anime and send it to you occasionally.
You don't have dick pics on your iCloud?
Not from my phone. I have a DSLR sitting on my shelf just for that. Gotta get that lighting just right. But yeah, I think that's enough for the iPhone.
Yeah. Oh, but the iWatch, a feature I thought was cool was you could... I don't know how it... I never watched the conference, I just heard about this afterwards, that you could tap your friend on the wrist if he was wearing an iWatch. I guess it vibrates to simulate someone touching you on the wrist.
Oh, I know where I'm putting that watch.
Oh, God.
The strap is tight.
Yeah, keep sending me taps.
Alright. I don't know. I just remember them talking about the digital crown, which is the dial on the side, and being this is perhaps the worst product ever, and I'm never going to buy it.
I don't even know what it looks like, but I assume it's some rounded thing.
It's a nice, sleek-looking watch.
Is it? With
one button and one badass dial on the side.
I will have to look at it. Why would you need a dial if it's a digital thing?
Because you remember on the old iPod Nanos,
yeah.
To scroll through the menus, because there was basically there was one button on the front of that. You had to use the circular dial thing, and you'd scroll to the left, and it would move down the list.
Yeah.
Of your songs, or whatever. So it's like that. It's just a physical dial on the side. There is a dial on the side of a watch, to change the time or whatever.
That watch looks really cool.
Yeah, it does look cool. It's just...
It's got a camera on it.
Am I wrong in thinking it's $370?
It's something expensive, and you have to buy the new iPhone to use it as well, so it's going to be about $1,000 just to have the two products.
But I don't think they went for that with... Well, I don't think Apple ever really target a mass... They target a mass market, but there's an expectation, isn't there? You could go out and buy some sketchy Asian brand of a wearable technology. That'll probably work fine with your Android.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you remember...
a couple of revisions until see what it does.
Do you remember a while ago we were talking about... What's that conference called where they go and show all their new technologies?
Just the... What do you mean, Apple or just people in general?
People in general. And we were talking about...
Yes. Consumer Electronics Show.
Yeah. And we were talking about how either this year or next year people will start showing wearable technologies. Apple have just kickstarted that. Next year there'll be more and more wearable technologies there.
Well, there was a lot shown this year. Even Razer had their Razer Nabo or something, which was you can tweet from your wristband, which I thought was awesome. But
that sounds pretty cool.
Again, dumb, and it's probably never going to come out because nothing Razer ever announce and show ever comes out.
Yeah. But
also, I don't want to buy a Razer product for my wrist, so... But yeah, there was a lot of wearables there this year. It's just I don't know anyone who uses them.
Trouble is,
Maybe-
you say that like about Google Glass. Well, like, oh, who would wear Google Glass? I don't know anybody who will. In a few years, everyone will be wearing Google Glass, and they'll be wearing stuff on their watches, and it's all the steps of augmentations.
I agree, but in the ass end of nowhere that we are, we're not going to be able to pay for our Doritos with our phones, are we? Let's be honest. Like, if we lived in the middle of the Bay Area in San Francisco or something, then yeah, I'm sure like everyone's walking around with like huge ass glasses around playing Tetris in their face.
Yeah, it's where we live is not the greatest like technological hub.
I'm going to kickstart my emigration. See how that goes. I will record my entire life in my new home
Through your watch.
through my watch. Just if I could just live stream.
Oh God, the camera on your watch, you don't want that to activate. Like, you don't want someone to FaceTime you like middle of the night while your hands are down your pants.
Just like taking a shit, going back to wipe. And then FaceTime comes on. That would be the worst. In relationships.
Oh Jesus!
So, Destiny. Am I right?
I would not trust my wrist to hold up my $300, $400 watch as it's hovering over the toilets.
They're like slap-on wristbands as well. It's proper sketchy.
Oh God! Right, yeah. Let's move on. Destiny.
Right. Watches over toilets. Very similar to Destiny. No, right. Destiny's good. I wanna preface that by saying Destiny's a fun game.
Yeah.
I don't like it though. I have problems with the design. Like, technically, it runs, plays. I've had no network issues.
Which is a surprise for a day one MMO on a console, the first of its kind, to not have any server issues or connections.
It's a shared world experience. It's not an MMO.
It's an MMO. Come on.
Oh, my alarm's gone off. I agree with you, right? There's MMO aspects in there. And I wrote that thing on the site, which you can go back and find if you want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not. Here's the problem. Like, they said they wanted to get away from Halo, and they have, in a way. Like, it's got the structure of an MMO. It's got the core combat of Halo. Like, you fire a shotgun, feels like a Halo shotgun. The enemies move. They jiggle back. They run in for the melees, like Halo enemies. If you told me that was on the same engine as Reach, I would believe you. Like, just in terms of like the jumping, you land from the jetpack, you get that gun waggle in the moment, before you can raise it again.
Yeah.
It feels like Halo, like just an evolution, like Halo 4 felt like an evolution in a different direction. But then when you examine the gameplay more closely, because like the shooting's fantastic, you can aim down the sights, but it's just like aiming down the scope of a DMR. It's not some wild departure from what they're used to. But when you examine it closely, when you examine like the combat encounter, you don't pick up weapons like you do in Halo. So you don't
pick up ammo.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, you've got 4 primary weapons. You can have a hand cannon, an auto rifle, a scout rifle, or a pulse rifle. So burst fire, single shot, full auto, or your pistol, basically.
Yeah.
You can have either a shotgun, a sniper rifle, or a fusion rifle, which is like a charge fire gun, and then a machine gun or a rocket launcher. So all the weapons are one of those types. And they all sound like one of 3 types. So, like, I've been using the same sounding assault rifle, which is just a darker skin than the one I started with, for like the last 2 hours.
And it has slightly higher numbers in certain stat areas, yeah.
They're effectively the same. So, like, the loot doesn't feel meaningful, and neither does the armor, really. I mean, I've now got to the point where I can dye my armor, so that's pretty cool. So now I look like Master Chief because I've got green dye. Like, none of that seems to have much impact at my level, and I've finished the game now. I'm level 20. But, back to the combat. Like, you don't have that weapon. You don't have to switch weapons mid-combat like you do in Halo. You don't have to look at an enemy and think, am I better using this gun, which I only have 3 shots left, or should I switch to this other weapon, and it'll take a bit longer, but I might need my sniper rifle in the next encounter or something.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh, there's an elite down the hallway, let me grab a plasma pistol to take down its shield so I can take it out easier.
No, because like things have shields, but there's no variation in your weapons, so it's just shoot it in the head. Or shoot it in the weak spot for that enemy, which is almost always the head. But so like there's none of that. There's no like using the enemy's resources, which again is fine. Plenty of shooters don't do that. But when you're just taking that from the from the otherwise perfect gameplay of Halo, because I think anyone who's played it will agree it's like pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Like when you're just stripping that out, you end up with more. There's no reason to pay attention in the combat, because there's no reason to manage your weapons better, because if you shoot somebody with a rocket, you'll probably get that rocket back. The ammo will drop. So there's no management from that end.
Yeah.
And there's no vehicles, really. Like, there's 2 vehicles in the whole game. There's like a Ghost, which kind of looks like a chopper from Halo. And then there's this other thing which kind of handles like a Revenant, but with missile launchers.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're on about.
And they pop up at like let's say 4 locations through the actual story, or through the quote-unquote single player. Like, you can play it all multiplayer, that's the idea, you're meant to play it with people. But I played it all solo, because there was nobody else. I didn't encounter anyone for most of the experience. And like, 4 locations where these vehicles drop, and it'll be like, you can clear this ravine with this vehicle, and that's fine, but then, it'll arbitrarily block you from using the vehicle. So then you're just on foot, like spraying with the same guns, the same enemies, and then you'll get like a boss, but the boss is just the same enemy you've been fighting, but with more health. Like, there's no strategy to it, you're just shooting and trying to stay alive. And if you die, there's not really any checkpoints, you just sort of respawn as if it were a firefight.
Yeah.
Spartan Ops, you just continue to fight, basically. Which, like in Spartan Ops, there's no reason to play well. Unless you're going for high score, which doesn't exist in most of this game. It's like, you just die. If you die, which is rare, because I'm pretty sure they've made the game a bit easier, it feels like, from the beta at least.
Yeah.
Like, you die, you respawn, you pick up some ammo, but you probably don't need to, because you have got tons, and you'll just blast through that area. And that's basically the entire experience. At the end of a mission, you'll have what's called a darkness zone, which is basically where they manage the respawns. So if you're playing with a team, you just revive each other, and that's fine. If you're not, then you'll go back a checkpoint. Like, as if it were Halo. So in the darkness zones, you're really trying not to die. You're fighting the bosses, you're managing your health and stuff. And that feels pretty good to play. But in most of the combat, in like 75% of all your time, you're just laid back shooting. There's no repercussion to you dying. It's not like your armor degrades or anything, like in a normal MMO.
Yeah.
So you've got literally no incentive to stay alive.
I think the problem is, the game is an MMO, but they haven't marketed that to the console players, because, the average console player isn't going to go and pick up an MMO, really. I mean, I'm sure most console players are like, ooh, MMOs, they're for nerds. I just want my Call of Duties and my Halos.
But this is an MMO in many ways. It's just, it's not enough of an MMO to satisfy somebody if you told them it was an MMO. Like, if I had marketed that as, this is a console MMO, it's going to be the first of its kind, it's going to revolutionize it, you wouldn't be impressed, because there's not enough here off the MMO to satisfy. It's also not a fantastic shooter, so it's like...
I feel like if they hadn't have gone this MMO route, and they'd stuck with, like, the Halo, the linear story, and you go along this path and you kill stuff to get your objective, if they had done that, I think it would have been better.
You do, though. I mean...
You go to the same hub location that you land, and then you just go a slightly different direction to your objective every time.
Right. I've got my stats here because Bungie have launched their Destiny Companion app, which is the perfect thing. It tells you all how long you spend in each type of game mode, how many kills you've got, like your level, your gear, like it's all there. It's fantastic. But it also lets me tell you exactly how much I played. So, give me 1 second to actually navigate it, because I don't know how to.
Does it break it down from single player, multiplayer?
Yep. So I've played exactly 11 hours and 15 minutes in total. That doesn't sound like a lot, does it?
No.
No. Well, most of that was story, which again is worrying. I have played exactly 5 hours and 46 minutes of story, and I've completed it all. I've played 2 hours and 42 minutes of strikes, which are the harder content, the content you have to group for.
Yeah.
And I've played, 2 hours, 42 minutes. I've played them all, and I've replayed 2.
Wow.
So I've played every piece of content.
Question. Does that story time also count time that you're at the... Is it the tower, the social area?
No, because it breaks it down by mission. So it doesn't count any of my idle time. Because it tells me how many times... I've played an hour and 60 minutes off patrol mode, which is where you just visit the environments and do, like, shitty side missions.
Yeah.
And I've played 1 hour, 30 minutes of multiplayer. I've played all control. I haven't played the other game modes yet. So, like, 5 hours and 46 minutes for the core story, and I'm playing solo, so it's not like I've been in a group and just blazing through it.
Yeah.
I played every piece of content as it arrived. I played all the story missions, then I played all the strikes, then I played some explore mode, then I moved on to the next planet. And that's what I did for every single planet. And I've seen it all of the core game, in 11 hours and 15 minutes. Less than that when you detract the the PvP, the competitive multiplayer from it.
Yeah.
I played less than 10 hours.
This is a game where I saw the quote saying, "We want you to spend thousands of hours with friends exploring the worlds."
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's not bad. Like, you can't point at any one thing here and say this is of bad quality, and the game suffers for it. But I don't want to play the game. I'm playing it because I need to see it. I didn't turn on the game this morning thinking, oh, I want to see what's around the next corner. Because I already know, because I've been there twice before.
Yeah.
Like, I had my most fun time, well, on Earth, I had my most fun time during the alpha, when I played the one mission or the two missions that were there, and then I just explored the world, like, on my own in that case.
Yeah.
I just, like, went around the different nooks and crannies. I saw, like, a dead body hanging off a chair, and I'm like, there's a cool story here, because it was really unique. The environments are beautiful. And it's the same on every planet. But I soon learned that if I do that before doing the missions, then I've seen all the locations and have to visit them again.
Yeah.
Like, because you basically revisit every location. Like, there's a level. Let's go to Venus. Venus was my favorite planet. And the first mission, you bomb around the outside in the streets, shoot some shit, and then you go in this place called the Ishtar Academy. Now, I'd already walked in there when I was exploring earlier, so I'd seen all the locations. But I thought, like, it's a cool encounter. Like, the fight you have in there is one of the best in the game, in my opinion. And then, like, 2 missions later, like in the last mission of Venus or something, you have to revisit that academy. So I've played it in explore mode, and I played it twice in the core story. Like, doesn't matter how good the environment is, I've seen it 3 times playing the same not great combat. It's just, like, so monotonous.
Yeah. I felt that in the beta, because I didn't play the alpha, but I played a lot of the beta, and it was just run here to this area you've already been in the story, do the side mission, alright, now run back.
And it's like that on every planet. Like, I don't know, like, the music is fantastic. Like, it's a real shame that the whole thing happened with Marty O'Donnell, where he got fired. And, like, I don't know entirely what happened there, but he's now not with them.
But, he made the music, so you know it's going to be good.
It's fantastic. I think it's the best work he's ever done. And the art's fantastic too. Like, if you tell me that they poured like 400 million into the art alone, I would believe you. Because it looks, the density of a Mass Effect map.
Yeah.
Like, every corner, every room you visit has got a different story in it. That kind of idea. It's like that, but on a huger scale. But the scale's not really that big. Like, the ODST map? You visit the town between missions in the ODST. The city, sorry. You go between the different objectives at night.
Oh yeah, you go and explore and you learn the stories of your teammates.
Well, it's like that, except that you can't just start playing the story missions when you're in that world. Like, I land on Earth, I have to be doing one of these activities. I can't just land on Earth and then just go and find these missions. You can't just do it freeform. So you end up with this real segregated world where you have to jump in and out of loading screens, jump in and out of your ship, constantly between every single thing you do.
Yeah.
The world feels smaller as a result.
That was my biggest worry about the game, is that it's not going to be as big as they're hyping it up to be. It's not going to have as much content as they say.
Well, the only thing I haven't played all the multiplayer maps. I played about an hour and a half. So what's that, like 10 or 12 missions or something?
Yeah, but you don't play the multiplayer for anything. I mean, the reason people go back to play Call of Duty so much is because you're constantly unlocking stuff or working towards leveling up and unlocking more attachments for your guns and stuff. Destiny just doesn't have that.
Well, this is the whole point of the end game, which is what I've started playing now. Like, you've got... The idea is you rerun content on a higher difficulty, which is really not appealing because none of the content in there is that good at the minute. Or you play multiplayer matches. And you get these different reputation, like you'll get Vanguard reputation and Vanguard marks.
Yeah, I remember seeing them.
That Vanguard armor. You'll get Crucible for the different factions, which is very common in an MMO. And it just doesn't, like... You go to the vendor, you go to the Dead Orbit vendor, say, on on the tower, and he will have like 2 sets of armor for you for the class, whichever class you're playing, and then each vendor will have that, and they don't look particularly good. Like, I don't want to work towards that because I think it looks like shit. It doesn't look that great statistic-wise.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I don't want to play any more of this game, and them giving me meters to fill is not the same as them giving me content that I want to play.
It doesn't sound like the MMO thing where it's like, oh, here's the high-level end-game armor for PvP. This armor's for a tank. This armor's for a mage. You've got to choose which one, or customize which one your character is. Destiny doesn't seem like that. I mean, you're one of 3 classes, and
you only see the armor of that class as well. Which, like, if there was a stall and it was full of like 60 bits of armor, and you could only wear 20, at least you would think, this vendor has a lot of stuff. Yeah,
but like, if like you said, there were 60 bits of armor and all of them had different stats. I mean, I know some of them make it so you can use your special ability slightly faster, and some give you extra ammo and stuff. But they don't really seem to matter.
Yeah, you're right. Like, the stats don't matter at all. At the end of the day, like, I was back on Earth before because I was taking some screenshots for a gallery I want to do, and I shot there's 3 enemies when you spawn immediately on Earth. They're, like, just ahead of the road from you, and I shot them. I shot this guy in the chest with my burst rifle, which is like level 20. It's the first level 20 weapon you get because it's the end of the story. And he didn't die, and he's level 2, and I'm level 20. And he didn't die from the entire burst shot to his chest. So I'm like, what are the points of these statistics? Like, clearly that my weapon's better, and I'm better, but if it's not that meaningful, what does it matter if I have plus 20 armor, plus 20 defense or something? If I get shot, I'm still going to die.
Tell me, those areas we found when we were just messing around on the beta, where you go down some stairs and there's a bunch of question mark enemies that you can't get past and just one-shot you?
Yeah, well, that's what I was doing, right? And in that one in particular, right at the beginning of the level where you go into the subway, there's 3 enemies, level 20, level 18, I think, actually. I killed them, and that was it. There was nothing else there.
Really? They're not side missions you do after you reach level cap?
There's fucking nothing there. And then I did 3 of them, in fact, on Earth. I went to... Do you remember in the Strike, you go into that complex in the Strike, and then you have to hold out against 3 waves of enemies?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Well, there's that side passage, isn't there, down the crystal caverns? And they're all glowing green. It looks really cool. I went in there as well, because this is a similar situation. It's just high-level enemies you can't fight at the time you see them. And I went in and I cleared it. And, whatever, there's maybe 20 enemies there or something. And then I walked through and I killed a few more little groups. And then I was back out on the beachfront. And there's no reason to be there. There's no reason to do that at all. I didn't see any loot. There wasn't any hidden bosses or anything that I could find. I just walked through 20 enemies at my level, and that was it.
That's disappointing.
It is, because you see that when you're at a lower level, you're like, I'm going to be able to return there one day, which in reality is later that day because you'll have already finished the game. And I don't know, the mystery is better than what you find, but when what you find is just what you've been doing in the same place.
The story seems really interesting. I would love to know more of the story, but
I would, and I finished the fucking game.
They're waiting for those 2 more games to finish it.
Nothing happens in this game. The last mission of the beta, which is probably the last one you remember, is when you're on Earth, you're fighting, and you find out about this thing called Rasputin, this Warmind AI.
Oh yeah.
I heard one line about him later on in the game, and that was it. That's the entire narrative. Basically, you go to each planet, and you'll get somebody telling you this is vitally important to save mankind, and then if you do this, you'll win the war and beat back the darkness. And you do that 20 times, one on each mission, and that's it. They don't link these things together. You hear about... Sorry, go on.
Do you think that, say, a Mass Effect styled game, it's still open world and it's still got all the planets you can go and explore and it's the open areas, do you think that would have been better? Because that way you could have your missions and you'd fly to the different planets, do them, then you'd come back and you'd learn more missions. You start at the tower, you hear about some evil boss that's on Venus killing people or whatever. You go to Venus, kill him, come back, and then you get more missions.
See, I go back and forth, right? Because it was meant to be huge, this game. in terms of content and scale and what you were doing in it. And it's not, but at the same time, I'm paying £40 or £45 I played, which is like $60 or whatever. I'm paying that and I'm not paying a subscription, so it's hard for me to complain that there's not endless content.
Yeah.
But the stuff you do is shit. Like, going to a location, defeating 2 waves of enemies and then defeating a boss is not good content by any game, like Mass Effect or otherwise. So, like, imagine if you played Spartan Ops, the entire series, like all 50 missions or something, but they took out all the story in between, all the CG, like the cutscenes. That is basically what this game is.
No, that's...
There's like 4 cutscenes in the game, of which your guy says about 3 lines, because it's a Bungie game and they refuse to give you character. And unfortunately, the people you meet have no character either. Like, Peter Dinklage sounds like he's just like, I don't know, recovering alcoholic or something. He's just like delivering these lines in this flat, monotone voice. There's one woman you meet who's like super cool sniper lady who does nothing through the entire game. But her voice is so blown out. Like, the mic is just so blown out on it. It's all over the place. Like,
yeah.
There's no story there. The people you meet aren't compelling. The world seems real cool. Like, both in terms of art and, like, the greater fiction. Like, you unlock Grimoire codex entries, which basically you go on the Bungie app on your phone, and you can view all this, like, the history of all the factions and stuff, and, like, where the Hive came from. That writing is all really good. Like, the fiction is great. They just won't tell you it. There's no reason to go through all the content, because, like, you'll go and visit the Black Garden, right? That's a location. They hype it up to be a huge thing. You'll defeat the Black Garden, and then that's it. You're just on to the next thing. Like, you don't ever feel like you're accomplishing anything. You don't feel like the story's going anywhere.
Yeah. It's like the classic Bungie thing where they've built up this amazing world with lore, and it seems really interesting, but then the games don't really live up to it. They can't tell their story the way they want to.
I would agree to a point, like, Halo 1, right, it just started, there was no, you started off, you're under attack, you're on this ship, and you have to escape, and then you're just on this crazy planet, and it's a similar thing to this, like, you don't know what's going on. In this game, you just wake up from dead. You're being attacked, you're being chased through these, like, abandoned cars or whatever, and that's all really cool, except whereas, like, with Halo, you're compelled to play it because you're discovering things, you're discovering this world, this ring world you're on. And, like, you're there with Cortana, and she's providing good commentary. Like, there's very little dialogue from you, but at least the stuff that's there is, like, it's kind of witty, it's kind of cheeky.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's interesting to listen to. The voice acting's great. The emotion is really good. Like, you care about Cortana at the end of that game. Or if not, you will by the next game, and the game after that. In this, like, Peter, there's, like, one moment, I think, on Venus where I actually laughed out loud at it. I sniggered or something.
You
That was,
lulled.
like, the only time through the entire game. I was like, holy shit, that's amazing. And it was just some throwaway line about killer robots or something. I'm like, I know, like, I don't think they write good characters. But there's, I don't know, there's just, the mystery is there, but rather than exploiting it in a compelling way, they just don't. Like, it's almost as if they didn't trust people to actually understand the world enough. So they just don't bother telling you. That's all. It's...
From what you've told me in the
Disappointing.
internet's response, I'm glad I didn't buy a PS4 for this game.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, really, because I was looking forward to it, but it doesn't seem to have delivered what people's expectations were.
No, and maybe that's our own fault, but if they're gonna... At the end of the day, if the marketing says one thing, then that's all a consumer can go off, really.
Yeah.
Like, that and previews. And if all the people who are previewing the game see is what the marketing want you to, that's on the company for marketing it badly. Like, they even said this is the biggest game they've ever made. That campaign is like half the length... It's not even a campaign. The content you can play in one playthrough is approximately half the length of, like, Halo 1. The campaign, I mean.
Yeah.
And, you know, the endgame content is just repeating those missions on a harder difficulty. That doesn't count as new content. You can't, like, they have challenges in there, like they did in Reach. Like they do in any MMO. So, like, you can go and beat 100 dregs on Earth. You can go and beat this boss or replay this mission on Heroic.
Yeah.
Or whatever it might be. But that doesn't mean it's new content that's, like, worth seeing. Like... It's like saying, we've built this 30-hour Halo game. You have to play the campaign on each difficulty. Like, what? That doesn't count as a new game. Like,
how many hours did you say you have in the story? Was it, 5 hours, 40 minutes?
5 hours, 44 minutes.
How much shorter do you think that would be if every mission you didn't start in the same place and have to run across the map to get to this slightly new location?
It's probably only a couple of minutes shorter on each. If you could say there's 25 missions or something. So if you took like 2 minutes that I spent to travel and like actually learn where I was going, which was not hard because they point you in the direction, like then yeah, maybe you're at like 5 hours.
Yeah.
But I saw GameSpot GameSpot posted last night that it took them 16 hours to complete the story, and they finished it at level 16. Now you're meant to hit level 20 at the end of the story. I don't know how the hell it took them 16 hours to complete the story. I don't think they played any strikes or multiplayer. I've only got 11 hours in the game, and I've played everything.
Yeah.
Like, that's not me slighting them. I'm saying, like, if you were to get lost in every environment, or they were like 4 levels lower than they were meant to be, which is obscene, because I was 4 levels higher than I was meant to be getting there. Like, when I hit Mars, the last area in the game, I was already level 19, which there's something wrong, because the last mission I played was, like, recommended 16. So, like, their entire XP scaling's off if you play the content in the order they present it.
Maybe it's because they want you to play with people, and so you were just absorbing all the XP on your own rather than, you and your friends fighting for it.
Maybe, but I think I'm going to say you get the same when you're in a party. You at least do off the objectives and stuff. And if I was with people, I would be clearing the missions faster, because there's only me shooting at these enemies now, but there'd be 2 other people shooting at them if I was in a party.
Yeah.
So,
there's a report here. Destiny has 32 story missions, 11 Crucible maps, 23 strikes, and 5 exploration areas, and 2 raids at launch.
Well, none of the raids are in there yet. They don't. Well, the one raid, I don't know where they're getting this 2 raid from, because if you go on, I've had to look into this because I didn't know how to start the raid, which is a 6-man mission meant to be really hard, meant to be the content you're there for, basically. And apparently it doesn't unlock till the 16th of September. They want people to have a week to level their characters up. And then it'll reset every week. So, pardon me. So, like, I can't play that now. I can replay the missions and the Crucible to get my XP up, because apparently I'm meant to be level 25 to play the raid.
Yeah.
At least from what I read on the Bungie wiki or something. So, like, I'm probably not going to get to that, because I don't care. I'm not going to play like 4 hours more of this same the same strike on a harder difficulty, because the strikes aren't compelling. Like, I'll play some multiplayer because I think that's fun. But again, without the weapons, without any like meaning to what you're equipping and what you're using in battle, what is the point?
Yeah.
Like, it's fun. Shooting people is still a fun act, and I think the competitive multiplayer is better than the PvE, the player versus environment content. And I still want to play it.
Right.
Like, just to get... Like, you play a strike on level 20, let's say. Say I replay the first strike on level 20. I believe you get 3 Vanguard marks. Now, I've seen things unlocked for 150 Vanguard marks. Maybe I'm confusing that with Crucible. Point is, you're going to have to replay a lot of shit to get, like, a shoulder pad. To get arm armor or whatever.
In the beta, I remember doing a bunch of story missions because you earn Vanguard marks. I remember spending hours just running back and forth, farming these side missions. I think I got maybe 50 in maybe
I think that's
hours.
Vanguard rep. There's 2 different meters, and I haven't got any Vanguard marks until the post-20 content.
I must have
I think
been
you've been getting rep, but the same point applies. Like, the grind is so huge, and for what? So I can kill things faster. It's already not hard.
Well, you're not killing them faster because you shoot level 2 enemies and they don't die in one shot.
Well, in theory, I will be killing the later stuff faster by getting the better armor and stuff. I don't know.
But will you? Because they scale up as you scale up.
But they don't rescale the enemies, so, like you said, I can go back to Earth and shoot level 2s. But in theory, to do the raid content, the high end, I will need the best gear. That's how it works on an MMO.
Yeah.
But this game is so about how well you play, and so little about which armor you have or something. I don't think it'll matter a great deal.
Yeah. this is running long, so if you want to sum up Destiny in a sentence.
I don't know. I haven't finished playing it. I'm in the middle of writing the review. That'll go up in a couple of days. It feels empty. It feels soulless. And it's not the best game Bungie have made, nor is it the best game I played this year. I think that's about it.
I wonder if it's Bungie, because I think we both agree that Halo 4 is the best game in the Halo franchise.
Yeah, but I also think Halo 2 was the best game before that, so I'm pretty sure some people will have a problem with that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in terms of story and characters and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like, there was actual character in that game, which is something the Bungie still haven't mastered or even...
They can build worlds, but they can't build believable characters.
There's so much inspired content in Destiny. Like, I think it's great. I think some of the stuff they've done is great, but, like, I think the world is great. But, yeah, there's just... I don't want to play it, ever. Let alone now. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Look for the review in a couple of days. It'll probably already be up by the time this goes up, so...
Well, when's your review going up, do you reckon?
I will finish it tomorrow, and then I will probably edit it and post it on Saturday morning.
Saturday. I will try to get this podcast up Tuesday, because I think most of Monday I'm going to be out.
Alright, yeah.
And I'm going to be busy in the weekend, so...
I also want to, I want to do some, I've got a lot of screenshots, so I might post a couple of galleries, or maybe one, like, mega gallery or something of Destiny.
Yeah, okay.
Because it does look beautiful, but, yeah, I don't know. Don't buy it, maybe? We'll see.
You've got to remember, it still has DLC already announced to come out.
It's expensive. I think it's like $35 for the the DLC pass for those 2 ones that they've announced.
Really?
If that's like 2 more strikes and like 5 more missions, then fuck that.
That's probably what it will be. It's not going to add like it's not going to be like, you can now go to Pluto and do a bunch of missions.
It's taken them like 4 years to make this, or however many extra years, I don't know. Apparently they've been working on it forever. Like, what is 3 months to December going to produce? Probably not a lot.
Well, you've got to imagine they've been working on it for a while and they just removed it for DLC.
Maybe, but if this was their idea of big, and that's additional content to like keep you playing, then I don't know. They need to add this again if it's going to be worth the money. Or they need to produce a reason to want to go back and play that older stuff, because at the minute there is no reason.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I'll try to check out the raid, but that won't be up until the 16th. So, by the time I've actually located 5 other people, because there's no matchmaking in the raids. Like,
really?
No, there's no matchmaking. I don't know 5 people with a PS4, I don't know 5 people playing Destiny, and I'm not going on the Bungie forums, because it's the Bungie forums. So, I don't know, I'm going to stand around and shout like loudly in the middle of the tower, I guess. It's dumb. Dumb.
See if you can play the raid. I don't know. I don't think it would save the game, but it might be fun.
I don't think there's even 5 people in the tower with me at any given location.
No, of course. What are you talking about? It's this massive world full of people you can encounter whenever you want.
Whatever. Read the review. It'll have way more detail.
I'm looking forward to reading it.
The game is fun. At times. That is it. Is that it? Is that us? Are we dropping out?
Well,
the Dropcast?
We've gone for about an hour, which is
shit. We were meant to be shorter.
Yeah, we were supposed to be going for short. That's why I'm trying to wrap this up.
We'll be back next week with another edition of the Dropcast.
Bye.